So when people were like, "Oh, I just want to do that stupid thing that you do," I'm like, "Yeah, have at it. Have fucking at it."
You're alone again. I shouldn't be thinking of you, thinking of me. I know you're not.
Greetings, everyone. This is Mike, and this is the Daily Bread podcast, the weekly bread, where I talk to you, my fan base. Whatever. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Today, I'm going to talk about what it's like to have a podcast, and this is going to be for anyone who is trying to start one on their own. And here's like some technical ways you can do it. But first, make sure you check out my couples checklist, the book on yourdailybred.com, BRED. It is for couples to have some fun things they can do together and learn a little or a lot about each other that they probably did not know prior to that. And also, if you know of podcasts out there who are looking for guests, I'm trying to promote the comic and the book and just get on as many as possible. So if you know like relationship podcasts or entrepreneurial podcasts or someone who just has a fun podcast and wants to talk to some random person like myself, definitely hit me up with an intro. I totally appreciate that if you do. And yeah, so today I'm going to talk about having a podcast and what goes into it. So I have two podcasts. I have this one, and then I have another one called This Was the Scene, and that one's about the late 90s punk scene. And I started that one 3 years ago. And the reason I started it is because I've always wanted to do a documentary about the New Jersey punk scene in the late 90s. And I thought, what would be the cheapest, fastest way for me to do something similar to that, where maybe it could lead up to wanting to do the documentary? Because the documentary would take like $10,000-$20,000 and years to film and interview. It's way too much effort that I just don't fucking have. And prior to that, so when I got the idea to do something different, I thought a podcast would be cool because I know how to do that. And the reason I knew how to do that is because I have a animation company called Drive80, DRIVE 80.com. I do explainer videos and logo animations. I'm doing Instagram custom stickers for realtors and software and app demos. So with that company, I did a podcast where I did about 20 episodes in 2017, I think it was 17 or 18, I believe. So it was 17. So I did 20 episodes. And the whole idea was that I was trying to get in front of marketing companies or video production companies. So I would interview them about how to market with video. Because I wanted to stay on their radar if they needed me to do any animations for them. And about 20 episodes in, I just despised it. And but I had the skill set to do it. And then a year later, I got the idea for the punk podcast and started doing it. And then for this, I thought it'd be cool to give a behind the scenes, because I don't really know any web comics out there that do this. And I've said this before, and I think I'd want to listen to people that I admire or that like people that I follow. I'm interested to hear the behind the scenes. And I think I've talked about this, but there's a group called Matt and Kim, and don't worry, I'll get to the technical side of how to do it. There's a group called Matt and Kim, and they're a music group. They've got that. If you just look them up, they have this song called Daylight, and it's very popular, and I think they made like a ton of money off of it, and they tour, but they date each other, and they've been dating each other for 15 years, and I think it's either they've dated the entire length of the band, but they have a podcast where the two of them answer questions about relationships, and it's really funny, and it's really cute, and you can just tell that they're really into each other, and they just have this fun life. But it's connected to, if you listen to it, you get to listen to it for free, you get to learn them, but it's also going to make you want to check out their music or even see them live. So it's really, I think podcasts are great. Like, you don't need to target the entire world. So the first thing you want to do when you create a podcast is think about, what do you want to talk about consistently? What do you love talking about? And what are you going to easily talk about? And that's like the creative side of it. Now the business savvy side is, does it fit into some place that people are looking for, and is it niche down? So with the punk podcast that I do, it's so niche because it started off as just the Jersey punk scene from the late 90s. very specific, and either people are like fucking crazy for it, or they're like, I would never listen to that. And to me, that's what I think you want in a podcast. You want it to be a hard yes or a hard no, because the hard yes are going to be die hard. And you also, so that's the business side of it. And then the creative side, the passion side is the thing that's going to keep you doing it, because podcasts are not lucrative unless you, like they can be, but typically you want to get a lot of downloads and statistics to show sponsors if you're gonna make money off sponsorship. Or for me, it works out because I mentioned that I have my webcomic, and I also mentioned that I do my animation company in the intro of that podcast or throughout episodes of the podcast. So people know through repetition that I do animations, and that's my main full-time job, is doing animation. And this has led to recently one client and another client who's interested, because they listened to the podcast. They're like, oh yeah, you do animation. I had someone reach out to me. Let me just pass it off to you. So this is gonna be like tens of thousands of dollars if these things land. So that, to me, 3 years of doing something to make that makes sense. And if I can continue to do that, then it's gonna make more sense. I do have a friend of mine. He just started a podcast, but he's selling through affiliates, and I never thought affiliate links really did anything. But he's making like, he just put up this blog post on his website for his podcast, and he talked about this on it daily supplement that he's using. So he wrote this whole this blog post about it, and then his own reason for using it for 2 years, uses it daily, his personal story, and then just had links all over to his affiliate. He's making like $500 to $600 a month, and he just started doing this in January. And with my other podcast, I'm charging like $50 for an intro spot. And I have like $1 a month Patreon. So he's doing it way better than me. So if you're savvy with it, you can make money. Now the technical side of it is, if the way that I do it is, I have my MacBook and I have a headset, and I use QuickTime. So right now I'm recording what I'm doing through QuickTime, and then that's like free. I mean, I had to buy the headset a couple years ago, and it was 60 something bucks, I think. It's a Jabra headset, and it does pretty well. But the problem with it is that if you move your head around, you can hear it like kind of creaks a little bit. Which, if you can hear that in other episodes, it's my headset doing that. So technically, a microphone and headphones will work the best, because you won't have that noise. But I like to be able to move around. Like right now, I'm sitting on my couch, just like laid back, and I'm not like handcuffed or whatever. I think like metaphorically handcuffed to being in front of a microphone and having it be in station somewhere. Like I can get up and move around with my MacBook. So I got the headset. I use QuickTime, which is free, and you can just do audio recording. But you want to make sure that when you're recording, you want to do a test first. So just hit record, say test, 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 stop it, play it back to make sure that it's picking up the sound from your headset. Because there's a couple times I've done this, and I just went through it, and then 20 minutes later I'm done. And for some reason, technically, it didn't hook up to my headset, and it was just using my computer speaker to record it, which was the quality. It just sounds awful. So that's that part of it. Some people use their phone, and they use what is it called? It's, oh God, I forget the name of it. It's like you can, wait, let's see, podcast recording software. This is Anchor. That's the name of it. So if you could use Anchor, you can record with your phone. So if you're driving and just want to put in a headset, I think if you have earbuds and you have your phone in your car, have it stationed, when whatever those docks are, and then you record it while you're driving. So that's one way to do it. My buddy Mike D, he used to do it that way. I think he still does it that way. So there's that way. For editing, you can download, there's a free audio editing called Audacity. So that's a free service or software. I use Adobe Premiere, because I just have used Adobe products for the last 20 years. And Premiere is a video editing software, but I can also use it for audio, and that's what I do with this. So what I do is I have my first episode I did like a music clip, and then I took the same clip and put it as an outro. The way that I always set it up is with this it's pretty fast because I can record myself talking like this. Once I'm done, I just take the audio, export it, and I bring it into Premiere. I drag it into a sequence. I just trim down the beginning because it always takes a couple seconds before I start talking. And then I kind of breeze through it, find about a 7 to 10 second clip that I'll use as the intro. I'll cut that out. But prior to doing that, I'll add a compression plugin on top of it, which is multiband, I think, compression. And when I do that, I can do a setting that's broadcast so my voice comes up louder and is a little bit more, the quality sounds better. So then I'll add the compression plugin first, and then I'll slice a clip for the intro, and I'll have another sequence that I go into. I'll put that in the beginning, and then as soon as it's done, it'll play my intro song, which you've heard when this episode started. And then that fades out, and I take the rest of the audio that is recorded, which would be in this episode, in this case, it's like this you're listening to. Put that right as the music's going down, and at the very end, I just put on the song for the outro. And that's it for this. So it's MacBook Pro. You could obviously use a PC because QuickTime is free. Download QuickTime from apple.com, and then you can record audio through that. And then my headset is a Jabra headset, which I bought on Amazon for like $65, I said. So that's that part. And then the editing, you can use Audacity or I use Premiere. And then once that's done, I export it. And now this is where I pay money. So I pay $5 a month for Libsyn, libsyn.com. And that's where you have to host your audio. So that's like the learning curve. I think with Anchor, it's automatic, but it's on their server. So with Libsyn, you're on their server, but you're renting space. So the audio is yours. And I think that if you use Anchor, it's kind of like their property. So that's where, if it's free, nothing's ever free. But with Libsyn, I pay, like I said, $5 a month, and the more space you need, the more the rates go up. And with my punk podcast, I pay $40 a month or $30 a month for that to have 500 megs of space per month, and because those episodes are long and just the file sizes are just freaking huge. So you go on Libsyn, you set up your account, and now you have to set up a Google Play account, an iTunes account, Spotify, and it walks you through how to do it, and their blog is great. It'll tell you exactly how to do it. But you want to set all those up first before you launch your first episode because it takes a couple days for them to verify your account. And once it's verified, then Libsyn, when you hit publish, it just shoots it off to every podcast thing known to man. But you also have to have cover art, so you got to design that, and then you got to fill out information about what the podcast episode is about. And then you have to have your cover image, and then every episode I always do a new cover image that it says what this episode's about. And you can pick, the last step is you could choose when you want it published. And I usually, if I'm on it, like right now, I'm recording this the day before this is going, and then I'll put it to launch at midnight, because when I first started doing this, my other podcast, I would launch it at like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m., but it sometimes would take an hour for it to show up in anyone's feed. So then I just started doing it at midnight because I knew that when people woke up, I wanted them to immediately download the episode and have it be ready when they were driving to work when people did that. So that's those tips. What else? You just need a lot of time. Like right now, I've spent about 14 minutes talking, and then it'll probably take me another 15 to export this, edit it down, upload it, and then I gotta create the artwork that's gonna happen. And I also have a landing page because I have a website. And the reason I have a website is because if someone's searching, let's say for, I don't know, how to do a podcast, this will come up because it's text heavy and it says like, today I'm gonna teach you how to do a podcast. So people might find this because I put that as the subject line. which helps then people go, oh, what is this? This person just taught me this, but they have a comic. I'm going to go follow that. So again, there's the business savvy part. So that's how you do a podcast. And my other one, if you're looking to interview, I use Skype, and I downloaded this thing called Call Recorder a couple years ago. So that was $45 one time. But apparently the new iOS, I don't think it works with that. So you got to check that out first. My friend Beth, who I talked about on the last episode and many episodes, she tried that and it didn't work. So I think she's just using Zoom now. But you should go ask her what she uses. It's Food Adventures Podcast. You can go follow her on Instagram. Let's go on a food adventure, and she can probably answer your question. You can also ask her questions on how to cook things, and she'll answer them in her podcast. A little plug there. But yeah, but with the other one I use Skype. I use Call Recorder to record it, and it usually records the episodes for about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm editing one right now that was 3.5 hours. That was very long. That one's a way more time intense. I mean, it takes like that long to record it, and then you got to schedule time with someone, and then you got to record it, and then hopefully it's at a time that works best for both of you. Some people have wanted to have me interview them at fucking 9 o'clock at night, which just blows balls. So that's another part. And then I edit it on Saturday mornings, which is cool because I'm a single dude. I don't have a responsibility. And it also makes me get off my ass on Saturday morning and be productive. But it'll take me 3 or 5 hours to edit the thing. So there's that. And I'm making about $70 a month for my Patreon because I'm charging $1 a month just for having the podcast if anyone wants to help out and donate. And then some people would donate one time here and there at a donate button on my website. And then I also sell merch, and I have that hooked up to printful.com because that prints on demand, so I don't have to keep any shirts in stock, which is great. But I also know graphic design, and that helps me design the shirts, and I can just have an idea and upload it, and it's ready to go. And I have WooCommerce on my website. See, people think this shit's easy, but there's layers and fucking layers to doing this crap. So when people were like, "Oh, I just want to do that stupid thing that you do," I'm like, "Yeah, have at it, have fucking at it," because you have to. This shit is the long game, and if you don't enjoy it, you are gonna drop out of it really fast. If you are expecting to make a lot of money, unless you are really strategic and you know exactly how to do that, it's just gonna be a while. So, yeah. But yeah, that's how you do it. So if you have any questions, you can always message me. Your dailyBred on Instagram, BRED. And you could also email me, mike@drive80.com. Drive80.com is my animation company, like I said, DRIVE80.com. You can message me there. I also have a PDF that shows you, it breaks down all of this stuff that I said. So you can email me and I can send that to you as well. And that's free. I'm not going to pay, I'm not going to charge for that. So cool. Well, hopefully this was helpful. And if you have a good podcast idea, remember, you want to love what you're talking about. You want to be knowledgeable what you're talking about. You want to be interesting. You have to have a voice that someone's going to want to listen to. You're going to have a niche topic, a niche audience that's going to want to listen to it. And you need a lot of time to record it and edit it and all that fun technical stuff. So hopefully this is helpful. If it was, then tell people about my comic. And the more people that you tell, she's like, hey, I think this comic is kind of funny. I think you might like it. And then just send them a link and see if they want to follow me. Yeah. Okay, cool. Go do great things.